Your problem is just a test
obuzibu bwo kigezo bugezo
which will soon become a testimony.
Ekinaatera okufuuka obujulizi.
Take heart.
Guma omwoyo.
Have faith in God.
Bana okukkiriza mu Katonda.
Surely, every problem becomes a testimony in the life of those whose faith is in the healer Christ Jesus. For the book of Matthew 4:24 confirms to us that epilepsy is one of the many diseases Christ Jesus healed. In this testimony segment, let us listen to how the life of Sister Kajumba Lillian, who came with a problem of epilepsy for 3 years, was changed after the man of God, Prophet Samuel Kakande, prayed for her.
Yes,
Praise Jesus, brethren.
My
name is Miss Kaboyo Ruth from Namirembe Road. Standing here is my daughter, Kajumba Lillian. I came here when my daughter has epilepsy. My daughter got this sickness, and first of all, it failed her studies. She suffered from epilepsy for 3 years. She used to get 3 attacks every day of this epilepsy. In the morning, if she would get an epileptic attack, then she would sleep like for 3 hours. She would get another attack in the afternoon, and then she would sleep for 5 hours. Then when it attacks her a third time, she would sleep again like for 3 hours. So those are the 3 times it would attack her in a day. Brethren, that was a very difficult time. Remember, I'd taken this girl to school. She had gone to school to study, but then I would receive reports informing me that she spent the whole day without attending class. And they would call me to go to school and fetch her. On reaching school, I would find that her situation is a bit better, and then they would say, leave her to spend the night. Once I've reached home, I would receive another call informing me that the girl is so weak. Remember, I'm already home. Then I would board a vehicle and go. Midway, they would call me that now the girl is better, you can go back. Brethren, I would go back home. Brethren, early in the morning when I'm expecting that the child is going to attend class, again I receive another call telling me that now her situation is worse. Then I would go to school and they would say, we cannot manage this child. Brethren, I changed her to about 3 schools. But all was in vain. I went to hospital for the doctors to tell me what the girl is suffering from. And they diagnosed her to be suffering from epilepsy. She started on treatment and would go to Mulago Hospital. They started giving her treatment for epileptic people, and here is the medical form to confirm all this.
Praise Jesus, brethren.
Yes, you have Uganda.
This is a medical form of our sister Kajumba Lillian.
Eno baluwa ya muganda waffe Kajumba Lillian.
And this is a medical form from St. Mary's Clinic.
Eno baluwa eva mu St. Mary's Clinic.
Where the doctors diagnosed her with epilepsy.
Abasawo bamukebera ne bazuula nti mugu wa nsimbu.
Brethren, that was before prayers by the man of God, Prophet Samuel Kakande.
Abooluganda bino byaliwo nga tannaba kusabirwa musajja wa Katonda nabbi Samuel Kakande. I continued going to the doctor in Mulago Hospital when she had started on the treatment. When she started on the treatment, again she developed another problem. Because I was instructed to give her that medicine at 3 p.m. So I got a problem that whenever I would give her that medicine, remember when you've given it to her the day before, she would sleep. Now, when she started on these epileptic drugs, she would sleep from 3 in the afternoon and then wake up until the following day at 5 p.m. I called the doctor and I asked him that, is it true that my daughter is still okay or alive? And the doctor would tell me, take it easy, she will get better. She will get better, only that she's not yet used to the medicine. So I changed her to another school, knowing that now that she's on treatment, she will be better and be able to study. But the same thing happened when I took her to another school. Still, whenever they would give her the medicine, she would sleep the whole day. At times, she would wake up and stay awake for 1 hour and then go back to sleep. So, the authorities at school told me, take this girl back home. You keep coming for notes and then you take her to read them at home. I did that for a whole term. I even got some teachers who are helping her to coach her from home. But, brethren, everything failed. And when it came to time for exams, I was told to take her early in the morning. I took her up to class. When she reached in class and they had just started a paper, the girl got another attack again. She was taken to the sick bay. They called me and said, come out of the car, come inside the school. So when it failed like that, for that term, the school teachers said, now you find her another school. Brethren, you know that kind of situation, like you've taken your child to a school, she fails to study there, you take her to another school and still she fails to study from there. In my heart I was saying, oh my God, my only daughter. Because she was being discriminated at school. When she would reach in the sick bay, they would say maybe she has ancestral demons. I decided to take my daughter back home. I decided to look for a school. This school got teachers. And they kept on teaching her from home. But I kept on paying the school fees. The daughter was never seen at school. I was paying the school fees, but then she would be taught from home. But brethren, I went through a very difficult time. Remember, every visitor that would come home would tell me their own version of the story and they would ask me so many questions. But brethren, when I brought my daughter here and man of God Prophet Samuel Kakande prayed for her, my daughter got healed.
Prayer for baby Lillian with epilepsy.
Jesus, there is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. Power to heal.
y'ebbaluwa eraga nti obulwadde bw'ensimbu bwawona tebukyalimu.
Here is the medical report that shows that she got healed of the epilepsy.
Brethren, here is another medical form of our sister Kajumba Lillian.
Abooluganda, eno y'ebbaluwa endala ey'eddwaliro eya muganda waffe Kajumba Lillian.
And this is a medical form from St. Catherine's Hospital,
Ebbaluwa eno eva mu St. Catherine Hospital.
where the doctors examined her and did an examination of the brain, which is the EEG.
Abasawo beekebejja obwongo bwe.
And when they examined her, they found that the brain activity was normal.
Era bwe baamwekebejja baazuula ng'obwongo bukola bulungi.
And the doctors could not see any interictal epileptic discharges. That means they were not seeing any form of epileptic seizures within her brain.
Abasawo tebaalabamu ngeri yabwo bulwadde bwonna obw'ensimbu mu bwongo bwe.
And in conclusion, the doctors said the features were of a normal awake EEG.
Era abasawo mu kumaliriza ne bagamba nti nga bwe bakebedde obwongo bw'omwana ono ng'atunula teyeebase bulaga nti obwongo bulamu nnyo temuli bulwadde bwa nsimbu.
Meaning she did not have any sickness of epilepsy. And this was after prayers by the man of God, Prophet Samuel Kakande.
Ekitegeeza nti nga takyali mulwadde wa nsimbu era kino kyabaawo ng'amaze okusabira omusajja wa Katonda Nabbi Samuel Kakande.
Bwe namuleeta wano omusajja wa Katonda n'amusabira.
When I brought her here and the man of God prayed for her,
Kati omwana takyagwa nsimbu, takyafuna ataaka yonna.
she doesn't get any more epileptic attacks.
Era yasobodde n'okukola ebibuuzo bye bya siniya 4 bulungi.
She was even able to do her senior 4 exams very well.
Neebaza Yesu
I thank Jesus
olw'okuwonya omwana wange Kajumba.
for healing my daughter Kajumba.
Neebaza n'omusajja wa Katonda okumusabira.
And I thank man of God for praying for her.
Ekitiibwa n'ettendo kiddiza Yesu.
eddagala lyonna bwe lituukira nga terikyasobola kukolako,
If time comes and all medicine cannot work upon you,
and God heals you,
Katonda yennyini n'akuwonya,
you say,
olwo ng'okkiriza.
God is not like a medicine.
Ogamba Katonda tali nga ddagala.
Praise God, brethren.
Katonda waffe yeebazibwa abooluganda.
I am by the names Kajumba Lillian.
Amannya gange nze Kajumba Lillian.
Here besides me is my mom.
Aninaanye ye maama wange.
Before I came here,
Nga sinnajja wano
I was sick of epilepsy.
nali mulwadde wa nsimbu.
When I got sick of that disease,
Bwe nalwala obulwadde buno
I faced very many problems in life.
nasisinkana ebizibu bingi nnyo mu bulamu.
You know, this disease is not easy.
Mumanyi obulwadde buno si bwangu.
I used to go to schools
Nagendanga ku ssomero
and I used not to study.
naye nga sisoma.
I was on medication,
Nga mbeera ku ddagala
but everything turned upside down when I slept the whole day.
naye ebintu byonna byanneefuulira nga neebaka olunaku lwonna
That was
nensiba
all for 3 years.
ekyo kyonna kyamala ebbanga lya myaka 3.
When I was still sick of this disease,
Bwe nali nga nkyali mulwadde mu bulwadde buno
I used not to do anything on my own.
nali sisobola kubaako kye neekolera nzekka.
You go to the shops,
Nga ngenda mu maduuka
my dad says, why have you sent the girl?
nga bwe ngenda ku dduuka taata wange abuuza nti lwaki mutumye omwana oyo genda ku dduuka.
He's afraid that I might get a problem on the way.
Ng'atya ng'alowooza nti nnyinza okufunira eyo obuzibu oba ne ngwa ku kkubo ng'ensimbu enkubye.
I felt like a prisoner.
Ne mpulira nga nninga omusibe.
You know how to feel in your own house
Mumanyi engeri gye kiwulikikamu, engeri gy'owuliramu ng'oli mu nnyumba eyammwe awaka
when you're a prisoner.
naye ng'osibiddwa omwo oli musibe.
Children at school started running away from me.
Abaana ku ssomero baatandika okunziruka.
My own friends,
Mikwano gyange bennyini
they thought that anytime I might get a seizure attack or an epileptic attack and I fall down.
nga balowooza essaawa yonna ensimbu eyinza okunkuba n'engwa wansi.
In class,
Mu kibiina
when I was studying,
bwe nali nga nsoma
even though I had the knowledge to study,
newankubadde nalina amagezi ag'okusoma
but still,
naye era
everything turned wrong. I couldn't go to school.
ebintu byonna byansobera saasobola kugenda ku ssomero.
I visited doctors,
Nagenda mu basawo.
and this is what shows that I used to visit a doctor at Mulago Hospital.
Eno ebbaluwa ey'eddwaliro eraga nti nagendanga okulaba omusawo mu ddwaliro ery'e
The
Mulago.
doctor, his name is Dr. Mukasa.
Ayitibwa Dr. Mukasa.
The card is an appointment card.
Eno gye mulaba appointment card kwe nalabiranga omusawo.
Because everybody would run away from me,
Kubanga buli muntu yenna yali anziruka.
I would reach at school.
Natuukanga ku ssomero
Whenever I was sick,
nga buli lwe mbeera omulwadde
I look for somebody to wash for me.
nga noonyayo omuntu ananjoleza engoye.
Even my own relatives, my cousins,
n'ab'eŋŋanda zange
they
bakizibwe
would
bange
even deny me that I'm not their cousin.
nga banneegaana nti oyo si kizibwe waffe tetumumanyi.
I would keep quiet,
nasirikanga
but it would hurt me from inside.
naye nga kinnumira munda omwo.
When my brothers are talking about school,
nga baganda bange abalenzi baba boogera ku
for
ssomero
me, I'm at home.
bannyinaze baba boogera ku ssomero nga
I
bagenda
feel
ku ssomero
bad. But because God is there,
naye kubanga katonda gy'ali
I kept on moving on with my life.
nasigala ngenda mu maaso n'obulamu bwange.
I changed various schools,
nagenda mu masomero nga nkyusa nva mu lino nzira mu ddala
and because of that same problem, epilepsy.
olw'obulwadde obwo obw'ensimbu.
Whenever I would reach in one school,
buli bwe natuukanga mu ssomero erimu
sometimes if it's too many days,
ebiseera ebimu nga bwe mba mmazeemu ennaku nnyingi
it's 5.
malamu ennaku 5.
This is what shows that I have changed schools from one to one.
kino kye kiraga nti mbadde nga nkyusa amasomero nva mu lino nzira mu ddala.
I first went to Stella Maris College in Sube.
nasooka genda mu Stella Maris College Nsuube.
It started like a malaria.
gwatandika nga musujja gwa nsiri.
I got an injection.
ne bankuba empiso.
I got an epilepsy attack.
kati ate mu ngeri eyo ensimbu n'enkuba.
They called my mom.
ne bayita maama wange.
Come and pick the kid.
bamugamba jangu okima omwana.
I only spent there 5 days.
eyo namalayo ennaku 5 zokka.
That was in 2014.
ogwo gwali mwaka 2014.
When it came to second term,
bwe kyatuuka mu sekendi taamu
I only went there even before I got out of the car.
nagenda ku ssomero tuwata wakatuuka ne mu motoka saafuluma.
I got an epilepsy attack.
ensimbu n'enkuba.
When I woke up,
ngenda okuzuukuka
I found when they had put all my luggage in the car.
nasanga emigugu gyange gyonna bagikomezaawo bagiziza mu motoka.
I felt hurt,
ne mpulira nga kinnumye.
and I just kept quiet and I told my mom, let's go back.
nasirika busirisi ne ngamba maama wange ntuddeyo eka.
And because my dad, for him, he just wanted me to study.
naye kubanga taata wange yanjagaliza nnyo okusoma.
He told me that if that has failed,
yaŋŋamba nti ebyo bwe biba nga bigaanye
you try something else.
gezaako ekintu ekirala.
That's when I started doing my artwork, like beads, tie and dye, and necklaces.
awo ne ndyoka ntandika okukola emirimu gyange egy'emikono nga nkola tie and dye nga nkola ne bu necklace.
This is one of my artwork, but per moment, this is for UNEB. It's called Mosaic.
kino kye kimu ku mirimu gye mbadde nga nkola egya art. kino kya UNEB nakikola kya UNEB bakiyita mosaic. Watching the screens of a television, brethren,
Mutunule ku ntimbe zammwe abooluganda.
you can see the beautiful item, the article that our sister made,
Mulaba muganda waffe byasobola okukola ebirabika obulungi ennyo.
which means that she's talented.
Kino kitegeeza nti ayina talanta.
But then the devil had crippled her.
Naye omubi yali yamugongobaza.
But in spite of that, she still continued to go ahead and invest in her talent as a way of escaping from the problem of epilepsy, the disease that she
Naye
had.
nga tafudde ku ekyo yagenda mu maaso ne talanta ye nga tafuddeeyo ku ngeri emizimu gyali gimugongobazaamu gimuggyeko ebirowoozo.
These are the different techniques of tie and dye.
Wano nyinawo ebya tie and dye ebitengi bye nakola.
But this is all, I did it just to pass time.
Naye bino byonna nabikolanga kutwaliriza budde kwegamba nfune ekintu ekinzija ku kirowoozo kirina obuzibu bwe nalina obunene
I do even
obw'ensimbu.
many others like necklaces,
Nakola n'ebirala bingi. Waliwo necklaces,
bracelets,
waliwo obukomo buno obw'oku mikono
and anklets.
n'obw'okusiba ku wano ku bukongovule.
But because I did not lose hope,
Naye kubanga saggwamu ssuubi,
I continued doing this.
nagenda mu maaso nga nkola bino ebya art
I
and
did
dye.
this when I had a dead year in 2014.
Ebyo nabikola mu mwaka 2014 kubanga ogwo mwaka gwonna gumala gwonna nga sisoma.
Then the following year,
Omwaka ogwaddirira
my dad decided to take me to St. Mary's Chitende.
taata wange n'asalawo antwale mu St. Mary's Kitende.
I decided to repeat the class.
Ne nsalawo kiraasi njiddemu.
When I went there,
Bwe nagendayo
I only studied the first day.
nasomayo olunaku lumu lwokka
I went
olwasooka.
for orientation.
Nagenda mu orientation.
The third day, when it was our first time to go to class and study,
Olunaku olwokusatu lwali olw'okuyingira mu kibiina tusome.
in the morning when children were shouting,
Ku makya abaana baali baleekaana.
because I couldn't be in people who are shouting and in a crowd,
Kubanga nali sisobola kubeera mu bantu baleekaana nnyo era abantu abangi.
I ended up getting an epilepsy attack.
Namaliriza ng'ensimbu enkubye.
That very day,
Ku lunaku lwennyini olwo
I got 3 attacks.
ensimbu yankuba emirundi 3.
When I woke up after some few minutes,
bwe nazuukuka oluvannyuma lw'eddakiika
I found when my mom is saying we are going back home.
nasanga maama ndi ku bbali nga ŋŋamba tuddayoka.
I felt hurt because it was my third day at school.
Nawulira bubi nnyo kubanga olwo lwali lunaku lwange lwakusatu ku ssomero.
I wanted to really remain at school.
mazima nali njagala nnyo okusigala ku ssomero.
I went back home,
N'addayo eka, maama yanzizaayo eka.
but all that happened.
Naye ebyo byonna byabaawo.
But for me, I kept on having a feeling that I would study.
Nze nga nkyalina muli ekirowoozo n'okukimanya nti nja kusoma.
I went back for exams only,
N'addayo okukola bigezo byokka.
where my mom would wait for me in the car.
Era maama yapaakinga ngaawe emmotoka n'annindirira.
And I finished the exams, then I go back home.
Ne maliriza ekigezo kikola n'alyoka nzizaayo eka.
I would not associate
Nga seetaba na baana balala.
because other kids, you remember, I had studied with them. They thought I was one class, maybe in the same class, but they are seeing me being a repeatant.
Kubanga jjukira abaana bali nali nasoma nabo. Naye ate kati nga bandaba nzizeemu ekibiina nga bampita lipiita.
The school tried to understand my situation.
Abakulu b'essomero baagezaako okutegeera embeera yange.
They waited for me second term.
Ne bannindirira ttaamu ey'okubiri.
Second term, it also started like a malaria.
Ttaamu ey'okubiri era gwatandika nga musujja gwa nsiri.
But when I went to the hospital,
Naye bwe nagenda mu ddwaliro
that's the school hospital,
ey'essomero ku sick
they
bay,
found when I had both malaria and typhoid.
baasanga nga nyinamu omusujja ogw'ensiri n'omusujja
It
gw'enda.
took long to get cured.
Naye ogwo gwantwalira ebbanga ggwanvu okuwona.
That is, I only studied at school for only 1 week in
Ekitegeeza
second term.
ku ssomero mu ttaamu eyo nasomamu wiiki emu yokka.
I kept on hoping the school tried to tell my mom to change the school.
Nasigala awo nga ngezaako kwegamba okukwasaganya ebintu byonna.
But because my dad wanted me to remain in the school,
Naye kubanga taata wange yayagala nsigale mu ssomero,
they decided to give me only third term.
baasalawo bampe ttaamu ey'okusatu yokka.
But remember, they had already made preparations of making my referral letter.
Naye mujjukire baali bamaze dde okukola enteekateeka okuwandiika ebbaluwa ensindika ewalala.
I went back third term.
N'addayo ttaamu
It
ey'okusatu
was the same case.
era kyali kye kimu.
I tried to participate in other things like a normal child,
Nagezaako okwetaba mu bintu ebirala ng'abayizi abalala aba bulijjo
but
abalamu.
the nurse would keep on saying, for you are weak, you can't go there.
Naye nga nnaasi abeera ngamba gwe oli munaafu ekyo tokigenda kikola.
Everybody used to say that to me and I used to feel bad.
Buli muntu yenna yaŋŋambanga ekyo nti gwe oli munaafu kino tokisobola era nga mpulira bubi nnyo.
My friends, I tell them I want to be an engineer
Mikwano gyange nabagamba njagala kubeera engineer
or an artist.
oba si ekyo artist.
They say you can manage only art but not engineering because you are weak.
Ne baŋŋamba osobola bya art byokka kubanga oli munaafu obwa engineer tobusobola.
I just keep quiet.
Nasirika busirisi.
Sometimes I go in my bed and start crying.
Ebiseera ebimu nga ŋŋenda mu buliri bwange netandika okukaaba.
But I did not lose hope.
Naye saggwamu ssuubi.
When I went back for third term,
Bwe naddayo mu ttaamu ey'okusatu
I made sure I work hard.
nakakasa okulaba nti nkola nnyo.
As in my working hard,
Era mu kukola kwange ennyo
I only spent 15 days at school.
namalayo ennaku 15 zokka ku ssomero.
I performed a bit fair according to how I was at school on and off,
Ne nkola bulungi okusinziira ku ngeri nti nali
but
siri
still
kusomera
the
ekiseera
performance
kyonna.
wasn't nice.
Naye era ensoma yange teyali nnungi.
Then on that very day of end of term,
Kati ku ttaamu awo ng'eggwako ku lunaku olwo lwennyini
I got a seizure attack during the course of shifting the luggage down.
tuba tusitula emigugu gyaffe tugikiriza wansi ensimbu
I got a
n'enkuba.
seizure attack.
Ensimbu yankuba bubi nnyo.
And the nurse commented very poorly about me.
Nansi n'ampandiikako bibi nnyo ddala.
Because she commented about me in the board meeting, they decided to say that I changed the environment.
Ne basalawo ne bagamba nti kankyuse ekifo mwe mbeera.
Then my dad saw when everything has failed.
Taata wange bwe yalaba nga byonna bigaanye,
My mom brought an idea of me studying from home.
maama wange n'aleeta ekiteeso nti nsomere ng'awaka.
We first tried various day schools
Twasooka ne tugezaako amasomero agadde
and they refused.
ne baŋŋaana.
But when I started studying from home,
Naye bwe natandika okusomera awaka
I more felt bad.
era nayongera kuwulira bubi nnyo n'okusingawo.
I felt like a prisoner
Nawulira ng'omusibe gwe basibidde awo
because any mistake,
kubanga akasobi konna
even though it's a spelling mistake,
newankubadde nga spelling mistake
they would report it to your parents.
nga butereevu bakuloopa nti ono bimulemye wano akoze bubi.
You wouldn't have fun like others.
Era nga sifuna kunyumirwa ng'abaana abalala bwe banyumirwa nga bali ku ssomero.
I hoped that everything will change.
Ne ndowooza nti byonna bijja kukyuka.
So I went to Kampala Secondary.
Kale nagenda mu Kampala Secondary.
I decided to get a school whereby for it, it's nearer.
Nensalawo okufuna essomero waakiri eriri okumpi n'ewaka.
And this is what shows that I was at Kampala SS.
Era kino kye kiraga nti nayingira mu Kampala Secondary School.
This is the bank fee for senior 3.
Eno bank slip ya senior 3.
Even though I used to pay school fees.
Newankubadde
school fees.
Newankubadde nasasulanga school fees.
I would not appear at school.
Nga ku ssomero sigendayo.
Not even a teacher knew me.
Nga tewali na musomesa ammanyi.
Not even the bursar.
Nga ne baasa tammanyi.
But when I kept on studying,
naye bwe nagenda maaso nga nsoma,
my mom brought that idea of, instead of having those things of dead year,
maama wange n'aleeta ekirowoozo n'agamba nti mufo ky'okubeerawo ng'emyaka gyo gyesazibwamu nti guno togusomye.
Let's register you this year senior 4.
Leka tukuwandiise omwaka guno siniya ey'okuna.
But before doing my senior 4,
naye nga sinnakola bigezo byange bya
you're
siniya
supposed to get an ID.
oteekwa okufuna identity card.
This is my ID
eno ya identity card yange
for Kampala SS.
eya Kampala Secondary School.
But remember, all this happened before the prayers of man of God.
naye mujjukira bino byonna byaliwo nga sinnaba kusabira omusajja wa Katonda.
My mom saw when everything is not changing.
Maama yalaba nga byonna tebikyukako.
My mom brought me here to be prayed for.
Maama wange yandeeta wano okusabirwa.
And man of God, that day it was a Thursday.
Era ku lunaku olwo lwali lwakuna.
Man of God, Prophet Samuel Kakande prayed for me.
Musajja wa Katonda Nabbi Samuel Kakande yansabira.
Prayer for baby Lillian with epilepsy.
Omuto Lillian yasabirwa mukuwa nsimbu.
But everything now, I feel everything has changed in my life.
Naye kati mpulira buli kintu kyonna kyakyuka mu bulamu bwange.
Now I have so far done 7 papers.
Kati naakakolako ebigezo 7.
I've not got any attack.
Sinnaba kulumbibwa nsimbu nate. Clap for Jesus.
Tukubira Yesu mu ngalo.
I have not got any attack.
Ensimbu tennaba kunnumba nate.
I even feel so happy.
Era mpulira nga ndi musanyufu nnyo.
The past week before we started exams,
Nga tetunnaba kutandika bigezo.
I started getting friends like I never even dreamt of.
Natandika okufuna emikwano gye nali sirowoozanga nako nti bali ba mikwano gyange.
I stopped being a person who feels lonely.
Ne ndekera okubeera omuntu eyabeera ngaawo n'empuubaala nga ndi nzekka.
Now I have friends.
Kati nyina emikwano. Clap for Jesus.
Yesu tumukubire mu ngalo.
I thank God
Nebaza Katonda
for healing me.
olw'okumponya.
I thank Jesus
Nebaza Yesu
for always guiding me in my way.
bulijjo olw'okunnuŋŋamyanga mu kkubo lyange.
And I thank God for guiding me as I'm doing my senior 4.
Era nebaza Katonda olw'okunnuŋŋamyanga bwe nkola
Those
ebigezo
times I
byange.
would find it difficult to do a paper.
Luli nakiwuliranga nga kizibu nnyo okukola ekigezo.
I would sit in a paper and see when I don't know a number.
Natuulanga mu kigezo bwe nti ne ndaba nga ennamba
Then I
sizimanyi.
get an attack.
Awo ensimbu n'eryoka enkuba.
But now
Naye kaakati
I sit in the paper.
ntuula mu kigezo.
I see the numbers when they're just coming the way I've
Namba
read them.
ne ansa nga mbirabye byonna bijja gye ndi mu butereevu bwabyo. Clap for Jesus Christ.
Tukubira Yesu Kristo mu ngalo.
Brethren,
Abooluganda,
when you're sick,
bw'oba ng'oli mulwadde
never lose hope.
toggwangamu ssuubi.
Because Jesus is there,
Kubanga Yesu
seeing whatever
gy'ali.
step you're going
Mu
through.
buli mbeera yonna gy'oyitamu. Ndeko
Just keep your faith in Jesus.
sigala ng'okukkiriza kwe okutadde mu Yesu.
Everything will be okay.
Ebintu byonna bijja kubeerera birungi.
I thank Jesus for healing me
Nebaza Yesu olw'okumponya.
and Prophet Samuel Kakande for praying for me.
Nebaza Nabbi Samuel Kakande olw'okunsabira.
The glory and honor goes back to Jesus.
Ekitiibwa n'ettendo bidde eri Yesu.
Each believer
Buli mukkiriza
must have a testimony
ateekwa okuba n'obujulizi
which proves him
obumukakasa
that God is God.
nti Katonda ye Katonda.
to God and His Son Christ Jesus, who is always faithful to all who believe on Him. Are you suffering from epilepsy? Do you know anyone with such a sickness? Don't hesitate. The Kakande Ministries welcomes you to receive a free prayer. Come, the man of God, Prophet Samuel Kakande, will pray for you in Jesus' name, and you'll be healed and set free. God bless.